Hey, well, it's Nancy the NP here. How's everyone doing? I hope you've been enjoying my channel, Caregiver Success, about our recent trip to Europe and how we enjoyed and planned all our excursions there. But after coming back, I decided to make you a list of some of the things that we learned kind of the hard way. But we did do our homework beforehand, but there were still other things that we did not even think of. One thing we did that was really good was we went to Europe in February. It was a little cooler. There was some rainy season stuff going on. We had to bring like layers, but we didn't stand in lines. We did not have to deal with the heat, and we didn't have a lot of people around us. So it was free game as we moved from Spain to Morocco, to Portugal, and then to the Azores. So really think about when you want to go and try to pick times that you can go that are not so popular. The one other thing that was really neat is, if you want to get tickets to go to certain castles or events that along the way, you have to get those months ahead of time and have a whole itinerary plan for yourself when you go on a trip. And we did not do that. We waited till we got there and decided on one of the excursions. There are a lot of things you can do on your own. If you look at YouTube and watch some of the videos of people who have been world travelers, you get a lot of information, and I took a lot of notes by doing that, so it did help a lot. So think about that as well. Also, metric system is the ruler there, so think about that as far as miles to kilometers. If you're going to rent a car, everything's in liters. If you're going to put gas in the car, or metro as they call it, right? And everything's maritime time. So 12 o'clock noon is 12, but then 1 o'clock is 13 o'clock, and 2 o'clock is 14 o'clock, etc. Till you get to midnight, it's 24 o'clock, and then you go back to 1 again. So you almost have to kind of count on your fingers if you're not used to the maritime time, but that's going to be everywhere. We did rent a car. We found out that we did have some great deals to rent a car, but the thing was that did make it a problem was we did drop the car off in another country. We picked it up in Malaga at the airport, and we drove it to Marbella, Spain, where we stayed for 8 days, but we used that spot as our place to eat, sleep, or just hang out when we were tired, but then we would get in the car and drive everywhere. It is the same side of the street as America, and you can get an automatic or a stick, whatever you want, but it's not scary. You can go all over the Eastern European areas and actually be able to be on the right side of the road. So we were driving through mountains. We were going all the way to the olive fields. We went through all sorts of wonderful places by just having a car. If you're a nomad like us, definitely consider getting a car. And you don't have to necessarily have excursions, because like I said, we got tickets for some of the things and decided on some things to go in and some not to go in. That was really big. So one thing about that return of the car, we returned the car in Portugal, in Lisbon, where we stayed again then for 4 days. It cost us almost the same amount as renting the car for 8 days to return it in another country. Important to have auto insurance, or actually travel insurance, but also coverage in case there was some kind of problem with the car. We did have the car looked over. They said we scraped the rim and that it was going to cost $250 to fix the rim. And, luckily we did have insurance, because they were going to put it through it, or they were going to make us pay for that. So important to think about having some extra insurance. The other thing we did get before we left, we actually checked our passports, and mine was due for renewal in March. And if it's not at least 6 months before renewal, you may want to consider, like I did last October, getting another passport to be ready for this February trip, because they want it to be, it's a 5-year passport, but they don't want it to be a month out. God forbid we got stuck in Morocco or something happened, I only had a month to get back with that passport. We did get TSA. This is the first time we had that. We loved TSA, getting on the plane. You didn't have to take off your shoes, and because they do a full check on you. They know that you're safe and honest. A lot of things just go through that you didn't have to do in the past. The one thing we did not get was a global entry, which we kind of learned our lesson when we got home, because we got off the plane at 9:30 along with a lot of other people from other countries coming back to America from other countries, and the line was probably 100 people deep when we got there at 9:30. And believe me, after a 6-hour flight and it's cold and you got your luggage to gather, you don't want to be on a line. So I saw our friend who traveled with us, and he had global entry, and he went right up to the line and went right through, which is another checker. Costs a little bit more. If you get it with the TSA, it can be cheaper, but if you have American Express card, you can get the global entry at a cheaper rate. So that's something we learned, and we will definitely get global entry for the next time we go to Europe when that happens. One more thing about the car. We did get an international driving permit. It's called an IDP, and it's only $20. You get this paper. It's good for a year. God forbid you're stopped and the police ask to see it. At least you show that you have one. Definitely don't forget to travel with your license. A couple forms of ID is great. Your insurance card for health insurance, a couple credit cards, definitely your passport. And I actually had a passport folder, which was great because everything was in that folder. And I did buy this knapsack. Where is it? It was on my chair here. I don't know where it went. But it was a knapsack that goes across the front because, people you're on trains and stuff. You got your passports, you got your euros, you've got everything that's important on you. And you certainly don't want someone to be taking stuff out of your knapsack on your back. So make sure things are in the front of you where you are so that nobody can really pickpocket you. Okay, so that was important. I don't know why I don't have it here to show it to you. Oh well. So much for being organized. One more thing that was really good to have, and we were glad we did it, was we got a travel package for our phones. Now, I have grandchildren. We have relatives. We have people who may need us, and we both took out this travel package. It allowed 250 minutes on the phone for the month. It allowed texting. It allowed all sorts of stuff, FaceTime, and it was great. So we paid $100 a piece to do that. We could have done it just on one phone, but we did it on each phone because we found out for the 18 days we were away, it was worth it for the month to pay $100 a piece than to pay by the day. So really check out your plans, and definitely don't forget to do that because you'll get dinged when you get home if you make any phone calls that are long distance. When we did speaking of travel, when we got to Portugal, just so you know, they have these metro and train passes called Lisboa passes, and it's just a little card, and you don't have to do anything till you get to the airport. So when we got to the airport to drop off this car that we had for 8 days, which was so cool, we then got these metro passes for 3 days because that's how long we were in Lisbon. And it's cheaper by the 3-day pass. So we were able to get on every train, every metro, all day long, on and off for, I think it was $108 for the two of us. Such a deal because we saw so much by just riding the train. And speaking of moving around so much, don't forget about what you wear on your feet. Oh my gosh, all the streets are cobblestone. Some poor people were putting down little tiny rocks and grouting them for miles and miles and miles in all these countries, up hills, on stairs, everywhere. And if it's raining, they are slippery. And if it's not raining, they're hard on your feet. So if you have difficulty with walking or you have trouble with your feet, make sure you get a good pair of supportive hiking shoes that either are over the ankles for support, if you want to go climbing mountains and do stuff like we did. But even not so, there are stairs everywhere and it's a lot, and there are no railings. So you might want a hiking stick or bring a cane or some other way of getting around because you're going to do it on foot. All right, so wear proper shoes. I brought pumps, I brought wedges, and I never took them out of the bag. By the way, I brought dresses. I never wore any of those either. I actually got to wash all our clothes in the Marriott in Spain after 8 days before we left there, so that we had 8 more days of clean clothes. And that really worked out well. So if you can find a place to cook a little bit of meals, if you can get a place like we did for breakfast every morning, so we can, really have a variety of foods that we can have in the morning and fill up for the day, and then do dinner out. We save tons of money on not buying food for every meal. If you don't like European coffee, and it, it was very bitter to us, although we started to learn to like it in the end. It was almost like a latte, with the steamed milk. I mean, it was really neat, but in the beginning it was really hard, and I don't like sugar in my coffee, so it was pretty tough to drink, and I need my coffee in the morning. You may want to bring your own coffee. They do have Keurig machines in some of the rooms, that would really help you out, so that at least you have your cup of coffee in the morning. So it's nothing to bring your coffee, and even powdered creamer, because there was no creamer anywhere that we could find. Don't forget a corkscrew, something small and easy to carry. I had a corkscrew that's only about 5 inches long with, in plastic. And, if you buy some Portuguese wine or Spanish wine, you want to open it yourself. You don't want to go to the bartender to ask him to open it. It's not always so cool. They're going to want to sell you the glass of wine. So something to think about. Don't forget an umbrella. If you're off season like we were, I packed a small umbrella in the bag, and I did use it. Make sure you bring a couple hats, and, they don't have to be winter hats, but even baseball caps, because it gets windy. And don't forget, it is like off season. They're coming into their end of winter into spring. So you're sort of getting the change of the weather before you come back home. The other thing that we thought was really good was bringing extra luggage or a carry-on of some sort that's empty. I love to go Christmas shopping when I go on vacation, because we were in some beautiful, cool places that had things that I've never seen before, never probably will in a long time, and they're perfect gifts for only a few euros that you could give at Christmas, and people will love them. We got olive oil that was packaged so beautifully for $5, and it's pure, beautiful olive oil from Spain. I got beautiful scarves from Portugal, blue and white ones, just gorgeous. Special little tiles and bracelets and earrings and little dresses for my granddaughter that were, just beautiful. They were Spanish dresses. So if you want to gather all these things and bring them home, they do take up room, and you're only allowed a certain amount of poundage, 50 pounds. Another important thing I didn't mention is bring with you a weigher for your luggage. So you can weigh your luggage before you get to the airport, because it's the worst thing when you have to open your luggage in front of everybody and your bras and everything is all over the place, and you have to take stuff out of your bag and put it in the person's bag next to you that is with you to travel, just to make it lighter. So if you can weigh your bag by a weigher before you leave and have it with you for the whole trip, it's a great thing. And like I mentioned, some way of actually carrying stuff home. These are called earplugs. I used to prescribe them for my patients all the time. Not earplugs, earplanes. So airplane, airplanes. Well, these are earplanes. They are little rubberized things. They come in a little container. Keep them in my bag. And you put them in your ears before takeoff, and you leave them in your ears until you reach altitude, because your ears are going to be popping. If you have sinus problems, if you have a cold when you're getting on the plane, make sure you take some vitamin C, and then also bring these, put these in, and you could leave them out for the 6 hours or however long until they say we're descending. Oh, one more thing that I did. I bought myself a COVID flu kit that I carried with me just in case, because the last time I went on vacation, I got COVID. And, it's nice to be able to not have to go looking through the stores, trying to find yourself a kit just to see. I also brought myself an antibiotic, a Zithromax, which is a Z-Pack, in case I got a sinus infection, something I can hold on to. There is something online. It's called Medical Kit. You may want to look at that, but they do have prescription medications that you can buy, have a kit with you, so you don't have to go to an urgent care someplace. And that's something you may want to really consider doing, because you just never know when you're going to need antibiotics. We did make sure that we had coverage in case something happened. Like, let's say I fell on that cobblestone pathway and I broke my hip and I landed up in a hospital in Spain. We did have coverage of up to like $100,000 for in case I needed surgery. God forbid. Luckily, nothing happened, but it's always when you're not prepared. So we did take out insurance for that. And we did take out insurance on our travel insurance on our entire trip, just in case 2 days before the trip something happened, or and we just couldn't go, because that would have been a terrible thing, to not be able to finish the trip. Another thing is don't consider buying euros at at your local bank. Wait till you get to the country in Europe, because it is the European Union and the euros go through all the countries in Europe for the most part, and you can get them at the airport. You could get them anywhere and you won't pay a fee. Actually, any bank, right? You can walk into any bank with them, okay? You could use your debit card. You can use your credit card. And we used our credit card even for buying slippers in Morocco, so you can use your credit card most places. American Express wasn't accepted by a lot of places because there is a higher fee for using it. But if you have a big purchase, like, you're buying a plane ticket, or you're paying for your Airbnb or whatever, wherever you're staying, the American Express could be good because it does have insurance on it should you have to renege on your trip and cancel. I'm trying to make sure I cover everything. Oh, I do want to show you this. This was amazing in Spain. I love the food because it was fresh, very few ingredients, and was so amazing. So watch my videos, Spain, Portugal, and Morocco, and then we land up in the Azores, and that was absolute heaven. So check them out on Nancy the MP, which is my handle, but my channel is Caregiver Success. But look at these cool little packages. These are olive oil, and since olive oil comes from Spain mostly, and there were olive trees for gazillion miles, instead of getting mayonnaise package in your sandwich, you would get a little drizzle of olive oil. Isn't this cool? Love it. So I brought some home to show you. And one more thing, and then we're almost done, is going to Europe, don't bring your hairdryer. Most of the time there's hairdryers, definitely in the hotel rooms if you're staying there. I did have a little portable hairdryer. I heard that maybe the voltage may not work there, but you definitely need to have an adapter. This is what goes in their walls. They have these kind of plugs, little holes in the wall. So you have to have this adapter so you can put your plugs in for your charging your phone or whatever. But I will tell you, I had a car charger from home that has a cigarette lighter into it, and I was able to use that in the car that we rented for 8 days. So if you're having GPS, it didn't wear out your phone because you were able to use GPS and just plug it in with the the car battery charger. Anything else, Steve, you think I forgot?
No, you got it.
All right, so we covered a lot. If you have any questions, I'm not the world traveler, but this was our first trip, and I think we did pretty darn well for being away for 18 days. Check out the videos, give me some comments, and let me know if I can help you at all. I'm a baby boomer aging just like you. I worked by many years, and now I'm trying to enjoy what time I have left. And do that, everyone. Enjoy what time you have left. Don't put it off, because you just don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. So from Nancy the MP on Caregiver Success, check out my videos. I'll see you at the next one, and God bless. Take care now.